G'day, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be going through the steps I took to paint up the little cockpit for the Tamiya Lancia Delta Integrale. As you can see, I think it looks pretty good. Naturally I'll show you closer later on. I did a couple of other things with this car too. One thing I didn't do was put the body clips on it. Anyway, yeah, added some wipers to the front, got the aerial up the top there, and a little wiper at the back. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Although my girlfriend did say it's a rally car, why do they need a back wiper? They're supposed to be driving forward, not looking back. Yeah, I don't know, I just thought it would look cool. Anyway, so the cockpit I used is this one here. There you go, there's all your part numbers and stuff on there. And I believe you can get these in left or right hand drive. I've got the left hand drive, of course, so my driver's over here. Yeah, and so you get the cockpit in there. You also get the parts for the driver. Yeah, a couple of driver and the co-driver parts there. Then you get some double-sided tape and a couple of screws. And you also get decals for the dashboard, for your gauges and all that. And you get this padding stuff, so they can fit quite a few different bodies. If your body's a little bit fatter, you can chock it up with the padding between that and the double-sided tape, so it fits in nicely. So that's that. So the first thing I did was basically I went and trimmed the cockpit around the edge, and there's a nice line around there. You just follow that around, it's nice and easy. After that I hit it with a little bit of PS black. I know it's not polycarbonate, it's styrene, whatever. I only had a small amount of this black left, and I only had a small amount of TS black left. So it's kind of a mixture of both. So I went over the PS first, and then finished off with the TS black. And as you can see, it's actually shiny. I don't want it shiny, I wanted a matte finish, but more on that later. And I had to cut those little holes out at the back here for the body pins that hold the, basically hold the body up. You've got to slip the cockpit over that first, so you need those holes there. So from there, of course, I just used standard, I didn't even have acrylics, I used enamel paints on it. You know, just your basic Tamiya enamels, and went around painting it. So the problem there was the enamel takes quite a while to dry, so you do a little bit, you got to come back, you got to wait for that to dry, come back, do another little bit, wait for that to dry. It took a long time. One other thing I did was, you might see there, I've got the driver's, sorry, the navigator there. He's got his little piece of paper on his book there, showing the race notes. I just copied some off the internet. I don't even know what it is. So I wrote RC Hobby Shed Rally Championship at the top, and then just printed it out, made sure it was the right size to fit on, then trimmed it up and stuck it on. So basically just go around and yeah, paint your drivers. And it may have been better to mask at first so the drivers weren't black, and then I was trying to paint white on black. It might have been better to mask the drivers, I think, probably a little bit quicker. Anyway, I just kept layer upon layer with the white until it was covered. And along the way I used this black texture here, just a fine point black texture, and just went around cleaning up the details around the edges of the drivers and stuff. It's just easier than using a brush. And I'll show you a little bit later, I'm going to put a varnish over the top anyway, so it's all going to be sealed in and look good. Now working on the helmets, I went through and you know, screwed the helmets together. I actually glued them as well and sanded up the outside to get rid of the line across their head. And I also filled up the hole in the back using some of this Tamiya putty. Now that works quite good, but it does shrink a lot, so like automotive body fill is probably better. It doesn't shrink quite so much. And from there I just used white gloss or white enamel in the airbrush and just sprayed their helmets so they come up shiny, no need to polish them. So after that, just did the, you know, painted their faces in and the rubber around the helmet. And we're pretty much good to go. And as you can see, I wanted the spare wheel to match the wheels that are actually on the car. So I went with that little texture and drew in the gaps in the spokes to make it look the same. I think it looks okay from a distance. So once all the painting was done and all that, I just dropped a bit of this stuff into the airbrush. I didn't thin it. Probably should have been thin, but I didn't bother. I just turned the pressure up and hit it. So a bit of the Vallejo polyurethane matte varnish, and just went right over the whole thing. I didn't have the helmets on, of course. I kept them shiny. So yeah, just went over the bodies and all over the cockpit with that, and gave it all a nice matte finish. Now, then after that, there was a couple of bits like his gloves, or their gloves, and the belt buckles and things like that. Things I didn't want perfectly matte finish, just a little bit of shine on it. I went over with a brush with some of this, yeah, that's clear varnish as well, but it's a gloss. So I just touched those little bits up. I mean, all this could have been avoided if I went out and bought a whole lot of matte finish paints, but yeah, I'm not doing that. Maybe in the future. Anyway, as it is, you can go and use any sort of gloss varnish, gloss enamel or acrylic or whatever. And if it needs to be a matte finish, you just blow some of that stuff over the top. You can brush it on too. Now, when you come to do the stickers on the dashboard and that, you get some with the Lancia kit, and you also get some with the cockpit set. So same as me, if you want to, you can just mix them up, use whichever ones you want. I just used the ones that I thought would look better. I don't think there's any real order they have to be in. Now, as far as the additional things like the wipers and antenna and stuff, I just got one of, excuse the rattly bag, I've got one of these sets that's got a bunch of wings and wipers and mirrors and all that kind of stuff in it. There's no name or anything. Basically, they're all over eBay, dirt cheap. I think it was about $7. So you get mirrors, different varieties of mirrors and wipers and things in it. 2 or 3 types of aerials as well. So I chose that one. So yeah, basically I had to make holes in the window, so for getting broken off. Basically, they've got little legs on the wipers that you poke through the window, and you put a little spacer on the back, or not a spacer, like a sleeve, and it's supposed to hold it on. They don't fit very well. I think the idea is you're meant to glue them on. But what I did there was I just poked them through, made me little holes. They're only about 3 mil, not even 2 or 3 mil, whatever. Poked them through, and yeah, just heat it up with a soldering iron on very low temperature. I think it was on 160 or something, and just melt the ends of them. So yeah, they kind of flare out like a mushroom. And as you can see them, but it's not too bad. But the beauty of them being fixed at 3 points, like there and there, they're not going to break off easily. I hope not anyway. Yeah, I think they look okay. And same thing with the rear wiper. I mean, that will move if I move it. But yeah, just poke it through, burn it up with the soldering iron. It's all good. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Hope you got something out of it. Maybe it might help you when you're painting your cockpits or whatever. Yeah, I'll leave a few pictures at the end so you can see it up close and stuff. And yeah, catch you next time.